Hello, Joe Rossinello. Let us go into the breach. Please, wherever you're seeing this video, help us out. Share it, like it, subscribe, follow Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, the whole 9 yards. Joe, it's really getting bad out there, Joe, because I got to tell you something. I'm trying to be, how about this, a less emotional person. And what I mean by that is I don't want to get so angry at things. I want to try to be a little bit more understanding. A lot of my frustration, you and I, we vent here at the Frontline with Joe and Joe. I think it's a more productive way of fighting this culture war. It's not all about, punching people in the face and all that. But at one point, do we say, all right, now it's getting ridiculous. Now, this is a video, Joe, that I want to show you, okay? And I want to show the audience. And then we'll come back and we'll explain exactly what's going on.
Involved a female student and another student who was born male and identifies themselves as a transgender female. Now, it turns out, according to Riverside Police, both have fought before. Video shows another altercation between the two, and many people have taken to social media, specifically parents, to voice their concerns, some of them saying that the transgender student is much larger than the other student. Now, that fight was eventually broken up by school staff.
Why is that being allowed at all? Why is that boy who's pretending to be a girl not what's the word, expelled from the school? I have a son. If my son, who's a gorilla, by the way, he's 13 years old, he's stronger than me. Okay, not that I'm the strongest guy in the world, but he's strong. Okay, if my son did that, Joe, to a girl that size, he's getting expelled. He's probably getting arrested. By the way, he's probably getting arrested. This is what the left doesn't want you to see. This is what the woke mafia doesn't want you to see. They don't want you to see that this is a boy, a rather large boy, okay? He's pretending to be a girl. And please don't tell me there's something about gender dysphoria. This is a troublemaker right here, okay? And this little girl is brave. This little girl is getting right in his face and basically saying, I'm not putting, I know right from wrong. I know men from women, and getting right in his face. And what does he do? Beats the crap out of her. Why is he not arrested, Joe? Because my son would get arrested in a second.
Well, clearly there's a double standard. We've seen that in Canada at a protest in Vancouver. Basically, a person was protesting and they were assaulted by a transgender male. It's a double
Punched right in the face. Punched right in the face.
Clearly, it's a double standard. That's a fact. It's not disputable. But what I would say is this, again, I'm going to look to science. And I'm going to look to a time not too long ago, maybe 20 years ago. If there was, and this is so politically incorrect, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's the truth. If a boy, say he's 14 years old, is in school and he wants to dress up like a girl, ultimately something is wrong. I'm not going to affirm him in that process. There's something wrong. And that's what society, I am willing to bet, and actually it's going to prove me right now if you want to look to Europe, because they're backing away from transitioning children. France and I believe Denmark, they were 20 years ahead of us and they're backing away from it right now. We're behind. This period of time, 40 years from now, people are going to look at this and just be like, wow, what a mistake. We did not do justice by that boy.
That's if 40 years from now, America even still exists. Remember something. I forgot who I spoke to recently, Joe, was reminding me that at the end of the Roman Empire, one of the big problems as far as Roman culture in Rome was androgyny. In other words, this cross-dressing, this obviously they were quote unquote sexually liberated. Okay, homosexuality was rampant. That was common in the ancient world, but even at a much higher level, androgyny, all sorts of things like that. And what happened? Well, 40 years later, Rome didn't exist anymore. Okay, when you really want to come down to, or within, let's be more realistic, within 100 years, Rome collapsed. You don't even know 40 years from now that you and I can even have this conversation in a place called America, because this is the stuff that sows the seeds of our own destruction. What we need to do is we need to get together, and I think that Mike Knowles is absolutely correct. Transgenderism needs to be eradicated from our culture. It is not to be accepted. And if conservatives back down on this fight, Joe, if they start going liberal light, leftist light, and saying, well, we'll allow, no, none of it needs to be allowed. None of it should remain allowed. Okay, we need to fight against it tooth and nail so that you don't get some gorilla, okay, pretending to be a girl, beating the crap out of a girl half his size. That's the stuff that's got to end. And and stuff like that has to end through the education establishment, kicking them out of school, okay, and law enforcement. Because what I just witnessed in that video, Joe, was assault. Joe, 30 seconds. I'll give you the final word.
What I would just say is that lifestyle isn't a healthy lifestyle. Look at their lifespan. It's under 40. That's number one. It's not a healthy lifestyle. Why would we encourage young children to pursue a lifestyle that you don't live past 40? And again, we're not doing that child any favors. When we say we want to eradicate, we don't want to eradicate people. Ultimately, if you ask me, it's a mental issue. This is not scientific. I am not going to affirm somebody, particularly a young person, into a lifestyle that they don't make it past 40. It's not healthy. And even adults, this is something, if you ask me, that people need to get some help. There's an underlying reason why they're doing this. You're not born this way. Show me the science. And I'm going to tell you this, they can't, Joe.
No.
And society is making a horrendous mistake, one they will regret in time.
Right. You know what, Joe? At the end of the day, people have to fight against these things, and they have to risk not being invited to the cocktail party or the barbecue, as you say all the time at the Frontline with Joe and Joe. Thanks again, everybody. Remember, follow, share, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Help us out.